Hey everyone, I'm Errol Saturn, and welcome to a pretty late review for the most recent MCU movie titled Fantastic Four: First Steps. Obviously, interest in the MCU has been waning lately for a pretty long time in the general public, and even for me, ever since Phase 4, I really have only liked a few of their projects, those projects being WandaVision, Shang-Chi, and Guardians 3. The rest I either didn't see like many of the shows, or after some time my opinion has soured on them like for MOM or Quantumania. So, with a new phase officially beginning with this brand new movie, can Marvel bring a great version of their first family after 4 attempts to the big screen? And will that get audiences back on track with the MCU? For this review, I'm starting with some of the other stuff I liked outside of the characters and performances, because this time we're saving that section for last. So starting off, of course there's no surprise here, the score is awesome. Michael Giacchino is easily my favorite composer working today. I even loved his little Marvel short Werewolf by Night from a few years back. I mean, hell, one of the first ever things I reviewed on this channel was Director by Night, which was the documentary about the making of Werewolf by Night. And the score in this movie just fits this vibe so well. The new theme for these characters honestly feels like a real 60s era superhero theme, and I can honestly never get it out of my head. And I really loved the 60s aesthetic and set design of this new self-contained world. I loved the bold colors and the real sets they use in this movie compared to green or blue hellscapes that they're currently using for Avengers Doomsday. But for me personally, I think my favorite aesthetic detail in this movie is that when they listen to recordings from space, they listen to it on record players, leaning into more of a 60s analog look that really made this feel very unique compared to other MCU projects that can sometimes feel very annoyingly modern. With this new kind of format I'm doing on the channel, I really don't want to talk about visual effects in movies. As someone who avidly watches the YouTube channel Corridor Crew, I would rather leave actual criticism to visual effects artists who do it for a living. But I gotta say, the visual effects in this movie, for the most part, looked pretty good. Galactus looks amazing and does a great job not looking uncanny, since he is basically just a giant man. And the best scene in the entire movie by far that heavily involves space looks absolutely amazing. It gave me heavy vibes from Interstellar, and that's always a good sign, especially from a visual perspective. The cinematography looks great, characters are always really nicely framed, the primary blue and white colors for the team really pop nicely, and again, that space scene is shot really nicely, taking major inspiration from other sci-fi movies like, of course, previously mentioned Interstellar and 2001: A Space Odyssey. The tone was a nice surprise. There were some jokes, but some of them come from Johnny, so I kind of give them a pass due to there only being a few of them, but I like the more serious tone this goes for. Cosmonaut Variety Hour said that the tone kind of felt like a disaster movie, and as someone who absolutely loved disaster movies, I mean, I literally just put Independence Day in my Letterboxd top 4. I absolutely love disaster movies, so I really enjoyed this kind of fresh change of pace and tone for an MCU movie. This is admittedly a small point, but I did want to briefly talk about my thoughts on the 3 acts of this movie. The first act I thought was pretty great. Outside of that great space scene later on in this movie, my second favorite scene in the movie was just them showing in a montage format the Fantastic Four defeating all these villains. The second act starts really high with an amazing action scene and the reveal of Galactus, but kind of meanders after a while just because it focuses more on everyone talking about what to do with this situation. And honestly, the third act of the movie was really underwhelming as a final big fight against a literal planet eater. And small little thing here, the way this movie ends makes the Thunderbolts end credit scene make way less sense. I thought the end credit scene of that movie spoiled this one, but honestly, now I'm just even more confused. Outside of my biggest complaint with the movie coming in just a little bit, I thought the editing was really wonky in this movie. Scenes will just cut to scenes that don't even feel connected at all, and I think a major reason is because they cut a lot of content. Certain shots in the trailers are not even here. Natasha Lyonne is in this, and it definitely feels like they wanted to do a lot more with her character, but cut a lot of stuff with her to also make the runtime a little shorter. And John Malkovich, who appears for a brief second in the first teaser, I think, was fully cut from the movie. Sure, maybe this content they cut would have made this movie way worse, but I don't know. I kind of want to see what the content was after seeing a mid-final product. Oh shit, did I say that too soon? Now here is where all my complaints lie, but first I will say this before I kind of dive into it. Everyone in the cast I thought did a great job. Everyone fits their roles very well, but for me personally, I thought this character writing was really unfulfilling. Outside of the basic traits for all of them, I felt like I learned literally nothing about them or connected with these characters at all. Reed is smart, Sue is a mom, Johnny is a hothead, and the Thing really barely gets anything outside of he likes cooking and is nice to the house robot. And yes, these performances do a lot to make them likable, but I felt like there was no depth or substance to these characters, and with this being the fourth time the Fantastic Four is made for the big screen, I expected a lot more from these characters other than just the basic traits. My favorite characters in the movie were Galactus, because the mystery around him and what he is fun to piece together in my head, and Silver Surfer was easily my favorite character because you at the very least gave her a backstory and a motivation and even a small character arc that was at least interesting compared to just wanting to save the world and protecting your family. Even Superman, a movie that I personally love, and you watching this might not even like that movie as much as I, but at least all the characters have arcs or traits that make them interesting. They tried to do that with Reed Richards, but he openly admits that he doesn't want to do something that would make his I'm too smart for my own good trait more interesting, like the Jonathan Hickman run of Avengers involving incursions. Johnny was the standout of the family because at least they gave him somewhat of an arc. But outside of this, there was no growth, depth, or compelling things about these characters, at least in my opinion. In the end, I would give this movie a 5.5 out of 10. There were a lot of things I really liked about it, but the fact is that in my opinion, the driving factor of the movie, being the characters, were written incredibly weak. I can't bring myself to say that I really enjoyed it. Maybe I was expecting too much, but Incredibles does still exist as the best Fantastic Four movie we have gotten because of that incredible character writing. And before you kill me for this rating, yes, of course I think this movie is way better than Fant4stic. I literally would rate that movie a 0.5 out of 10 because that is honestly one of the most miserable experiences I've ever seen watching a movie. If you guys enjoyed this movie, please don't let my opinion bring you down. It's all in good fun sharing your own movie opinions. This one was just mine. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good rest of your day.